Welcome to the Manager Matt podcast show. The show is designed to give you solutions to your day-to-day management and leadership problems. It's hosted by Matthew Haddock, a frontline manager and leader with over 25 years of experience. If you're ready, then let's get on with the show.
Hi and welcome to the show. This week I want to talk about what to do when the boss wants all the attention. Right, without any more delay, let's get on with this week's show. Welcome to the Manager Matt podcast show. I do hope you have had a very successful week in whatever you've been up to, and I hope that you're delivering results with your team. The whole idea of this podcast, if you're new, is around helping you deliver results, helping you as a manager and leader become better, helping you deal with the times when you just don't know which way to go. And before we get into the meat of the show, I think one of the things that managers end up doing, and leaders and supervisors, are that they are promoted for being great workers, promoted for being the person who is good at the job. On the reverse, sometimes people are promoted because naturally promotion is the only way to go forward. It's the only way to advance your career and advance your earnings. So you end up getting promoted, and sometimes it's not the right place for you. But what we don't do well, and this is general for leaders, is we don't help people get better. We don't develop the skills of the people, which we should do. We always do all the great stuff around making sure people are safe for work, or you should be. Make sure people are safe for work. Make sure they get the basic training in whatever areas they're good at. If it's around financials, it's around making sure they have no misconduct. But when it comes to leadership, we don't do very well at helping our new managers and managers who've been around a while get better at what they do. That's why this show was set up. That's why I'm hoping you're listening to it. And that's why I'm hoping you're going to share the show with as many people as you can. Use your social media and all that. Get it out there. Share it. Just share it once today. Won't take you long. Click, click, click. Let somebody else have a listen to it. Anyway, what we're talking about today, well, it's around the boss that wants all the attention. Yes, that one person that you work for who just loves the limelight, wants to have it. I mean, it could be you. I'm sure it's not you. Who wants to be at the head on show, wants to lead, but make sure everybody else around him or her knows he's leading or she's leading. Now, what does that look like in reality as a person? You are a direct report of somebody else, then that manager could be all the way along getting the limelight, getting the praise for what you might consider is your work. First things first, try to be practical with these casts. There is a point where you are there to do work for the manager and for the organisation. The same that you should be getting people to do the work for you and your part of the organisation. That is a hierarchy. That's pretty straight obvious. I know we don't want to talk about it, but that's basically what you are there to do, is to get the work done through other people. And sometimes other people don't want to do it as well as you want them to do it. And sometimes the people are not as motivated as you are to do it. And that is the art of being a great leader and a manager, is to motivate those people and to get them to do the things. And it's not the transactional things. Like we said earlier, they've got to know how to do the bits and bobs. They don't have to know how to run the machines or do the call centres or run the reports that they do. It's actually about how you motivate the person. But you will have some bosses who will love to take credit and kind of soak it up and not give anything back, and almost get the report and rewrite it. First things first, don't be offended by that, because that is sometimes what happens. Rightly or wrongly, in your own moral compass, that is the way of the world, and that is the way that we are. Unfortunately or fortunately, in a hierarchical system, that's the way it is. Now, I'm talking today about the people who go a little bit too far. The ones who really do take the biscuit. How do you deal with them? Are they holding you back? Are they the toxic boss that's really stopping your career? Now, how do you figure that out? You're probably screaming at this set, and please don't scream at the set, it's quite rude. How do you do it? So how do you firstly identify that person who is taking the credit and being the big ego and doing all that? And then how do you deal with it? And how do you get that person to really understand what that does to you? And as you've probably gathered when you've listened to some of these casts, is the fact that you need to know your boss. As they've got to know you, you need to know them. So what are their drivers? What are their KPIs? What are they measured on in success? Because most of the time, I'm thinking back now quite a few years, I've never really had that many bosses that want to be in the limelight that much that they would do something to drive you under. I could have been naive. I think sometimes in my career, looking back a few years, there's probably a couple who were very, very driven, for want of a better word, and I think they probably took some of the ideas and the processes from me and claimed it themselves. And at the time, I didn't kind of pick that up. Looking back, I can see what they've done. Now, the ultimate end to that is I left that business. I'm not saying we're going to jump to that in this conversation, or not yet. But there's a point where I think some people do it. But majority of the time, get to know your boss. Get to know their drivers. What do they need to deliver to their boss? What do they need to deliver to the shareholders, for instance? What do they need to get out of it? Let them understand that you're there to do that you're there to support that. You're not there to undermine it. You're there to get them to get to that point. By doing this, you then have got the power to understand what is needed. It's all built on a good one-to-one, as ever. Get to one-to-ones with your boss. Get regular one-to-ones. Drive the one-to-one process yourself. Sit down with them. If you are a new starter, understand at the start of it what is your deliverables and what are their deliverables. If you can understand what their deliverables are, it makes it a heck of a lot easier to understand where you fit into this jigsaw. And of course, vice versa, you can then communicate to your team where we are on this process. But is it ones who are really going for it, stealing it? And although I've set this up as a boss, this can happen with peers. You know, let's be really brutal about this. And I know we don't want to talk about in the happy clappy world that sometimes we think we're going towards in corporate business. There is still an element of people who will take your ideas, they will take your mojo, they will take everything and they will rebrand it, not even that well, and send it on. They'll almost do a Google search of your ideas and push them as their own. And how do you avoid that? Well, that is a difficult one because there is some snakes, and I've spoken about snakes in other podcasts, who will definitely do that. I guess the other thing is, if you've got a strong relationship with your boss, he or she knows what you're delivering, you know what they're delivering, makes it so much easier than when they see others. Not saying you shouldn't support your peers, because you definitely should. When you look at a league table, if you're in a position where you have league tables or KPI decks, which most of us are cursed by going through on a weekly basis, if there is a site, a department, a person, an area that's at the bottom of that list, you shouldn't be wiping your brow and going, wow, it's not me at the bottom. Yay. You should be going, how can I support that person? How do I reach out to them and offer support? Because the more you do that, the more the person, the other side, will reciprocate. They will help you. They will be there. Again, majority of people are good. We are fed so much that everyone is out to get us and it's awful. Please don't think that way. Please look around you. Majority of the people who are your peers, majority of people who are your bosses are there in the same boat. They'll have the same pressures at home, family, bills, careers, bosses who are overbearing, KPIs that are hard to hit, hours that are long to work. They're in the same boat. So why don't you all row in the same direction? And if you understand the direction and you understand where you're going, that is the first, second and third real good points. Let's go the other way then. You've been overlooked for promotions. Your boss is a pain. They are pushing and pushing and pushing. They are really not fair. You've tried the one-to-one. You've tried the off-site coffee. You've tried the team building day. You've tried to get their KPIs and understand them. You've done everything and still you are getting it. Then there is a point where you need to look around and go, is this for me? That's not giving up. That is not giving up anyway. That is just going, is this for me? Do I need to be here when I can be somewhere else and I can be productive and appreciate somewhere else? Because when it all boils down to it, a lot of this ideas of appreciation can be a massive thing for somebody. You might think, oh, well, I give them a £5 voucher every couple of months and they get the face on the wall of the values. Well, actually, we appreciate people by knowing what they do, appreciate people by knowing what they add to your business, and you will then look after them. And it might not be sending them, off on a golf trip. It might be a case of giving them the praise and the appreciation of the work that they are putting into your business and how they are adding value to you as a boss. And of course, that old word thank you is in there. But if you are at a point where you've done everything and you've tried out, don't ever feel that you're giving up by moving on. Because there will be some people who will always have milked others in the wrong way. Very small percentages, very, very small percentages. But it might be a time to look at yourself and consider, should I be going? Should I be moving on because this isn't where I want to be, because I'm not moving my career forward? But also self-reflect if you are getting to that point. Look yourself in the mirror and say, well, have I done everything? Is this about that boss or is it me? And a good test for that, it's a great test for this actually, is how many times this has happened to you. If you've had to move 2 or 3 jobs and it's all because the boss has taken my ideas and not given me promotions and the boss and the system has held me down, you need to look in the mirror and go, is it really that? Or is it really me? Because you need to start with your me. You know, is it me who's actually having an issue with this, not the boss, not the organisation? So have a think about that. There will be people who are naturally want the light shining on them. That doesn't mean that they're negative. It doesn't mean that they're a negative person if they want the limelight. Some people are very comfortable and feed off themselves getting praise. And if your boss is one of those, likes to be the centre of attention, likes to be the networker, and you're not, then you're doing the role that you're there to do. You're there to support him. If you think of anything from a superstar sports team, there'll be 1 or 2 who are really the ones who put the goals in or touchdowns or do the point making. There'll be others who are supplying, they're the ones who do the defence. Same in the band. Any band you know, you'll know. If there's a band with 4, you can probably name 2 of them. The 2 are usually the singer and the lead guitarist, sometimes the drummers, depending on what music you listen to. But they've all adding the value to it, and they know their part in it. But what happens with bands that don't? If you get 4 egotistical people in a band and they all think they're brilliant, well, of course the band splits and off they go, and that's back to the point. But see what the person who you're working with is like. Get to understand what goals they've got. Get to understand how they work and what their level of involvement that they've got and what you've got to do. And from there, you can choose how you can add value in that business. Or, as I say, choose to leave the business and find something else. Talking about leaving things, I'd love you to leave some feedback. So please send your emails to managermattpodcast@gmail.com. I will answer every email you send me. It might take some time, and if it does get lost somewhere, send it again, because it can happen. It's a busy, busy world, but I'd love to engage on new and old topics around the idea of the boss, the idea of motivation, the idea of how we communicate inside the business, because I'm really eager and a big believer we can learn together more than we can learn separate. Well, that's it for Manager Matt this week. Thanks so much for listening, and goodbye.
Thank you so much for listening to this Manager Matt podcast. We hope you found it interesting, helpful and actionable. One last thing, please leave a quick review on iTunes or with your podcast provider, as it helps to spread the word of Manager Matt. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the podcast, and if you did like anything in particular, send an email to managermattpodcast@gmail.com or visit managermatt.co.uk for more content. Feedback is a gift, so let's keep giving. See you next week.